Hello, my name is Catriona Reid and I'm based in Gourock, and my current art form is ink painting. Kind of by accident and a lot of experimenting. Just before lockdown really, I had some materials lying around the house and I hadn't drawn for quite a long time, and I was interested in just trying drawing in a different way with different materials, and I had a tile and ink pens, and so I started to see how that would work. I didn't know anything about that at all. I was putting things in the oven and I was doing all kinds of strange things that weren't actually necessary, but through that process this evolved. So I studied sculpture and environmental. Historically though, I had always drawn and actually ironically drawn trees and things like that when I was really wee, mostly in pencil. But I went to the Glasgow School of Art and I did sculpture and environmental art, and it was amazing. But during that time I didn't really draw at all. You know, I annotated in sketchbooks and I drew out very quickly plans for like public artworks, which I love doing, but I didn't draw at all. It wasn't until really the last 2 or 3 years I've gone back to that. It definitely accelerated it, yes, that and the silence, because it got so much quieter and I became, I think like everybody, much more aware of nature and you know, the rhythm of the seasons, and it was a really lovely connection. It was a beautiful thing to be able to have the time to do. It definitely wouldn't have happened to this extent without lockdown. So my process is, it's really technical, right? I like throw ink all over the tile. That's really how it starts. But then there's just an awful lot of movement and sensitivity to touch and time, because the ink will dry. If it dries too fast, then I can't move it. If it's too wet, then it's not going to give me any detail. So that's really how it begins, and a lot of patience. So for every drawing that I have that I feel is successful, there's almost always at least 3 or more that weren't, and you just kind of have to be, it's maybe very patient, very tolerant of that process, because it's worth it. I just keep trying, and then once I've done that, I'll use fine liner pens, depending on what it is that I'm drawing, and you know, refine a little bit more detail. Favourite part of it actually is the varnishing, because it is quite a long process, and it takes quite a while to develop the painting, drawing itself, and then I finish the edges, and then I go to varnish it, and it can go really beautiful. Like I can get a mirror finish on it and it looks incredible, and it really brings out the detail that I've, you know, enjoyed creating. Or sometimes it can crackle and eat all my ink and it's just gone altogether. Now that doesn't happen very often. It's happened I think maybe 10 times over the last 2 years, and I've tried to investigate and find out why, but nobody really has an answer for me yet. No, which is unusual. I have looked, there are obviously people that do not dissimilar things, but I haven't found anybody that does it in quite the same way that I do. I kind of made it up, but I am sure there will be. I just haven't come across them yet. So ceramic, and I have a specific brand of fine liner pen. I don't know why. I have got like so many bottles of like ink, you know, proper drawing ink, Indian ink, all of the really quite fancy expensive inks, and none of them do what this pen will do. So it's the ink from the pen that I use for the entire thing, and that's really lovely because I get a different tonal range. Sometimes the light makes a big difference. It's just black ink on white, but it can look really sepia, or it can look quite warm and sometimes quite cool, and I don't really know why, but I like it. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I'm originally from Campbelltown. I really love being close to the water. I really have always had, I've loved Scots Pine trees, just I think because they've always, not in excess, but there's always been 1 or 2 wherever I was growing up when I was little, and there's quite a few here as well. And yeah, definitely, I think that the scenery, the sounds, the smells, everything about Inverclyde is incredible. Yeah, definitely do it. A lot of experimentation and failure, because that's how you learn. I think never be, and I know it sounds maybe like a pure cliche and everything, but don't be afraid to fail. Yes, but without the same confidence. I do feel that did make a difference. I've always been very creative. I've always not drawn, because life takes over, you know, you don't really have the time, but I have always enjoyed being creative, and whether it's making things or drawing, or but really going to art school was massively changing. Like it really did. It gave me the confidence to understand that this is something that I could actually do, not just, you know, when I've got free time. So yeah, it's important. It's been actually the last couple of years in terms of the work has gone incredibly well. I'm really, you know, there's still an awful lot for me to learn, but I'm really enjoying that, so I'm hoping that that continues and evolves into other things. I drew an elephant, you know, like different things. I know it's a bit random, but like, you know, moving on to a different body of work, maybe trying different materials. Yeah, I'm open to just experimenting and seeing what happens. At the same time, while I'm doing this, that's definitely a constant, but I've gone back to pencil drawing, which I hadn't done for a long time, so I'm doing that. I also went back to painting, although I haven't done that for the last 6 months or so. I wasn't really getting into it, but I keep trying different things, because you never know, there might be something that sticks. But that changes. At the moment, I'm really liking the thistles. I really do. I'm enjoying doing that, and I think the elephant. I would really like to be able to spend more time doing this, and make it something that I can, you know, do and still pay bills, still live, you know, be able to invest more time. Just now the balance is a little bit. I work 5 days a week, and everything's done in the evenings and the weekends around children and around, you know, life and my partner. It would be really lovely if that could shift. That's what I'm aiming for. Yeah, it was utterly terrifying. Like, to start with, honest to goodness, of like, even that last time there, I'm always really terrified to do it, but it's so worth it. It's an incredible experience, because people are coming in with fresh eyes. I mean, I live with this, I see this all the time, so I can't see it as clearly anymore. And the feedback that I'm getting is brilliant. And it's not that it's all, oh, that's amazing. Do you know, some people are like, it's a bit black and white, isn't it? And that's fine, that's cool, but it's definitely beneficial. And it's a really supportive community as well. Like, it's lovely to feel a part of that. And doing that pop-up shop offers that, you know, for the 5 days you do, you feel like you're really part of something in the town. I think that it's really good to, I really love collaboration. It's quite a difficult thing to do sometimes, but I really enjoy the conversations about it, you know, chatting about, you know, what people are interested in, trying out different things, you know, whether it's joining maybe a local group or something, or just making contact with other people. Yeah, and just asking questions. I think that's a really beneficial thing to do. That's how I learn, you know, from like other people, yeah.